Morning. I put out a video the other day, a little bit of background information my grandmother gave me about Prohibition and how she kind of stuck her finger in the pool of that. And my grandfather also told me a story, and this is years before they met, that he dove in head first. When my great-grandfather died, my grandfather was 14 or 15 years old, and we're talking 1929. And this was during the Depression, right when it kicked off, and my grandfather had to drop out of school and become the man of the house. And I don't know what kind of work he did, but I do know he made a good chunk of change helping out moonshine runners and whatnot. He lived in rural New York, extreme western New York, almost into Pennsylvania, right up on Lake Erie. And right across Lake Erie is Canada. And I don't know how the communication went between them, but they would say Tuesday night. So on a Tuesday night or whatever, my grandfather would go steal a truck. And back then, the vehicles made in the 1920s didn't actually have keys in them. You just got in and flipped levers and pulled the choke and had to adjust the time. There was a lot of work to get a vehicle running back then. So my grandfather would steal a truck from a farm, usually a 3/4 ton or 1 ton, which there weren't a lot of those around at the time. And he would drive to the beach, and he would back the truck up to the beach and make a fire at night, and he would just sit there. And eventually, a boat would appear out of the darkness, because remember, right across that lake is Canada. And they would hand him an envelope with money, and he'd walk home. The truck would always get recovered in Buffalo, about 60, 70 miles away the next day. Nobody ever got arrested. The loads never got busted. And the farmer would get mad and get his truck back. And I said to my grandfather, well, that's a little rude to the guy that owns the truck. And he goes, oh, don't worry. When I stole this truck, the truck was always full of gas, was always pointed out conveniently, and I would take a thumbtack and stick a $50 bill to the tree right next to the truck. So he would move around and steal a truck from different farmers in the area, and everybody knew who he was, and everybody knew what he was doing, and he'd be in town, and somebody would just be standing next to him, staring off into space, going, wow, I really could afford to have my truck stolen this week, and then walk away. So everybody was in on it, and he would literally move around and see whose truck he would rip off during the course of the month, or whatever period of time he did this. And I'm going, okay, Grandpa. Wow. So that was his involvement. And then in 1932, 33, Prohibition ended and that whole thing went away. But during that time, he supported the family any way he knew how. Like I said, nobody ever got arrested. Nobody ever got, no loads ever got captured. And, it's just part of American history, I was like, wow. Little bits of info you don't read anywhere or hear about. All right, well, that's my grandfather's story of Prohibition. Take care.